I was not going to accept a glass ceiling of middle management. When I quit, I was really scared. Everybody needs a jugaad. My jugaad was I began to teach 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the company, hand over to my colleagues, and then go from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and work in the Pioneer newspaper. So ये सब क्या है? अपने बड़े पापड़ बेले हैं. First, seek to understand. Only then try to be understood.
Wow. See, I tell you, you are a pattern guy.
पैटर्न क्या है कि हमने कम से कम 25-30 नए फीचर इंप्लीमेंट हुए हैं that use AI on Naukri. I think Monster was a formidable competitor.
What do you think about the generative AI?
Will people lose jobs? Yes, some jobs will be replaced. But
And then came something which is Ashoka Startup Mahakumbh, where Mr. Piyush Goyal, he made a sharp comment. What's the one critical leadership or systemic gap that you think we must solve by 2047, or we risk losing the next 25 years? I want to hear what you have to say on this 80 to 90 work week.
so I said no to Flipkart without even meeting them. I said no to Snapdeal twice at 28 million. We said no to Lenskart. I said no to Ola.
What's one decision you made for InfoEdge that quietly cost your family something? I still feel like the man with rupees 2,000 in my bank account. This isn't a fresh graduate struggling with EMIs. This is Sanjeev Bikhchandani, the man who built Naukri.com, backed Zomato, gave India one of its boldest universities, Ashoka, a founder before startups were cool, a billionaire who still thinks like a struggler. Welcome back to Shivadiyant, a place where campus chaos, corporate confusion, and the unspoken truth finally meet the mic. Today, we go back to the invisible decade, before the IPO, before the unicorns, to find the mindset that built it all. Mr. Sanjeev, welcome to Shivadiyant.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's an honor to have you and talk to you. So I'm going to take you back to 1990. You were 27 and you had just left a job, a marketing job at HMM, which is now GSK, and you moved into the servant quarters of your father's home in Delhi.
Well, actually, prior to that, before moving to servant quarter for a few months, we were operating out of the living room or the dining room of my co-founder. The friend and I founded two companies in Mark and InfoEdge, 50-50 partnership.
Yes.
My friend's name was Kapil Verma. And we initially operated from his dining table. We'd start in the morning, then move out at lunchtime.
Wow.
Then come back after lunch onto the dining table and work till dinner. Then move out at dinner time and then come back after dinner. So that was the first office. The servant quarter was the second office.
Awesome. You're going to give major corporate goals to a lot of entrepreneurs. So and you were earning around 2,000 to 3,000 back then a month.
The company could not afford to pay us. So we were earning
exactly.
zero.
So you were doing a lot of salary surveys, pharma reports.
Yeah, all of that we did, but that was from the company. What I began to do was I began to teach as visiting faculty on weekends.
Weekends, yes.
First at IMT Ghaziabad and then at any other business school around Delhi that would have me. Yeah. So my goal, I was getting paid 175 rupees an hour.
Yeah, wow.
And if I were to teach, maybe 4 or 5 hours a weekend, I would get close to 1,000 rupees. Maybe 6 hours a weekend, I get 1,000 rupees. Which means that in a month I could make 4,000 to 5,000 rupees.
Wow.
Which was a little lower than, what
your HMM salary.
Yeah, my HMM
8,000.
salary. No, take home was 5,500 post-tax. And I was getting about between 4,000 to 5,000 here. And I was teaching 9 months of the year because, when the holidays you don't teach. So I was getting by with, so that's how it was.
Awesome. And doing the salary surveys, reports, and living off. And I have to mention this, your wife, Mrs. Surbhi Bikhchandani's net sales salary as well. She was a big support. And in fact, in one of your interviews I was listening, you said, back then I was drifting. So to me, when you're drifting, even though with conviction, there is still a worry around your family and your friends. So my question is, what did you see in yourself back then that you really believed in, even if when your close circles didn't?
So look, you had self-belief that मैं कुछ ना कुछ करूँगा, क्या करूँगा मालूम नहीं. And because I was doing 3-4 different things, I was teaching, I was training, I was writing, we were doing salary surveys, doing a trademarks database. हम 5-6 चीजें कर रहे थे.
Yeah.
और we were getting by. So I was confident that we will get by.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about it. There was no big idea.
Yeah.
There was no internet then.
Yes. Yes.
But every few months we'd buy a new computer. We would, पहले एक servant quarter था, फिर we added a second servant quarter on top of that. So the office expanded. Then we moved to the second floor of the main house. Okay, paid my father below market rent, but began to pay him rent.
Salary rent. You were paying him rent as well. 800 a month.
No, 800 was servant quarter.
Uh-huh.
Then दो servant quarter का 1600. And then when we moved into the second floor, we were paying, I think, 14,000 rupees a month.
Wow.
So, but the market rent was 30,000 in those days. So
Even in 1990, we're talking.
well, this is by 94.
Oh.
Okay, market rent, we were paying half market rent. My father wanted zero rent, but I insisted. So that's how we got by.
Yeah, awesome. So let me ask you this. This is very interesting. You mentioned self-belief. So to me, if I have to put it, like, was it a rebellion or was it a quiet faith? Because it is okay to move out of your well-paying job. Very few survive and majority will come back.
So, in those days, if you were working for a prestigious large multinational corporation and you quit to become an entrepreneur, in those days we didn't say entrepreneur, we said you quit to start your own business. And after 2, 3, 4 years you wanted to come back into the corporate sector, you either went to an Indian company or a smaller size company, or you went to the Middle East or Africa. But coming back to a large multinational, it's possible, but you would probably be condemned to a glass ceiling of middle management. Because in those days, entrepreneurial experience was not respected and not valued. If you're a failed entrepreneur, and if you came back to a job, you were a failed entrepreneur. If you're a failed entrepreneur, you were not going to rise to the top in any prestigious large company.
Well said.
So therefore, it was pretty much for me a one-way street. That अगर मैंने quit किया तो मैं वापस नहीं आऊँगा. There is no coming back because I was not going to accept a glass ceiling of middle management. I was not going to accept anything less than the best companies, and I was not going to leave India and go overseas. So therefore, I was clear that एक बारी you have quit, you have burnt your bridges, you have burnt your boats, it's over.
Yeah, you're not going back. Okay. So that's the belief, I think. Now, beyond the belief, I think in those uncertain times, there is always one mindset that gets us through that. So if I have to ask you this, was there one mindset that you were really believing in, that this is going to get me?
So I think the first thing was when I quit, I was really scared.
Honesty.
What was I scared about? I was scared about not getting a monthly salary check. I was used to monthly salary check. 5 साल काम किया था. My father was a government officer, retired.
Yes.
There was no business person in the family. Nobody in the family had lived with uncertainty of monthly salary or lack of it. So I was really scared. But 2 साल बाद of quitting, within 2 years, I began to love the independence so much that I was okay with the uncertainty. So मुझे 2 साल लगे to get used to the uncertainty. In those 2 years, I had, everybody needs a jugaad. So my jugaad was I began to teach on weekends.
Yes.
And that gave me a basic income.
Yeah.
I had a resume, I remember that, 5 years advertising and marketing experience.
Yeah. And before that, you were working as well in Lintus,
Yeah,
right?
so 3 years advertising, 2 years marketing, so 5 साल. And 5 साल experience था, तो, I felt I could get my teaching assignments. I was okay. And I began to write. I became a part-time journalist. I began to get little gigs here and there while company was running. So I would work till from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the company, hand over to my colleagues, and then go from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and work in the Pioneer newspaper as a consulting editor.
Yes.
तो ये सब किया है. I've done about बड़े पापड़ बेले हैं, 10-20 चीज़ें की हैं अलग-अलग पहले 7 साल में before launching Naukri.
Yeah, awesome. So now I'm going to move to the next segment, which is 1996, and like you mentioned about Pioneer. So in the mid-90s, when I was doing some research on you, at that time, job listings were mostly seen as noise, black writing on a cheap paper. And but I think you saw something else. You saw people just were not reading them. They were cutting, circling, saving them. And to me, that's a pattern, And when you saw that pattern, you placed a bet of rupees 1,000 a month, which was roughly $25 back then, on a server in US for a site which later became Naukri.com in 1997 April.
I asked my brother to pay because, see, you could not remit money overseas in 97.
Okay.
You did not have a credit card which would work overseas. RBI did not allow that. You could not make online payments. So my brother was a professor at UCLA. And I rang him up and I said, can you get me a server?
Awesome.
And he said, yeah, okay. I said, look, I can't pay. He said, don't worry, I'll pay. And so he paid for the server for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So my question is, to me, this is pattern. So let me ask you this. So do you believe pattern recognition is something which is teachable, or is it something a founder is born with?
No, you're not born with it. I mean, it's something you learn, you observe, and it's not just pattern recognition, it's about observing people.
Okay. Okay.
So you got to be a good student of people. And, most people who listen a lot, who observe a lot, end up being good students of people. Right? So, हमारा एक professor था in IIM Ahmedabad. His name was T.V. Rao. OB का prof था.
Organizational behavior.
And he told us a couple of important things. One of them was, first seek to understand, only then try to be understood.
Wow. Nice.
तो बोलो बाद में, सुनो
Yes.
पहले.
Yes.
देखो पहले. And that kind of stayed with me, and I was like that anyway. So that kind of stayed with me. And so if you observe things,
Yeah.
you'll understand and learn.
Yeah.
So I learned, in my last job in HMM, now GlaxoSmithKline, the junior marketing team would sit in an open hall. So I could observe everybody.
Yeah.
हम 7-8-10 लोग थे.
Yeah.
And I could hear what they were saying on the phone.
Yes.
And I observed that when the office copy of Business India would come in, everybody would read it from the back.
Yeah.
Because there were 35 to 40 pages of appointment ads at the back of Business India in those days. It was the number one appointment ad medium for professional managers.
Yeah.
And then people sometimes not even read the articles, just pass on the magazine to the next desk.
Yeah.
And I found this very interesting behavior. And that's when I realized that jobs are a high interest category of information.
Yes.
कि लोग आर्टिकल से पहले जॉब एड देखते हैं,
Yes.
कभी कभी आर्टिकल पढ़ते नहीं हैं,
Yeah.
और फिर वो डिस्कस करते हैं, भाई ये जॉब जा रहा है यहाँ पे, व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Now these are people who are happy in their jobs.
Yeah.
They're not going to apply.
Exactly. Yes.
But फिर भी देख रहे हैं वो, फिर भी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं.
Yeah.
So that's when I learned that jobs are a high interest category of
Yes.
information.
Yes.
The second thing, so this is one customer insight. The second thing I observed was that open halls ha, so you could hear people talk on the
Yes.
phone.
Everyone. Yeah.
Every week, 2 or 3 headhunters would call up
Yeah. Headhunters. Yeah.
and try and headhunt one or the other of my colleagues. 7-8-10 लोग थे वहाँ पे, good talent pool to headhunt from. तो phone calls आते थे.
Yeah.
And I realized that every time it's a different headhunter with a different job in a different company, and these jobs are not advertised.
Yeah.
So that's a market insight.
Yes.
But there are hundreds, maybe thousands of headhunters out there,
Yeah.
servicing tens of thousands of companies with many, many more jobs. And these jobs are not advertised,
Yeah.
which means that what appears in print is the tip of the iceberg.
Correct.
Right? And jobs are a high interest category of
Yes.
information. So if somebody
Yes.
were to aggregate all jobs that are not advertised,
Yes.
then you may have something.
Yes.
So this is an insight I had in 1990. I quit my job. We began a salary survey, trademarks database, all those things we
Yeah.
did. And when you're thinking of starting a company, a business, becoming an entrepreneur, you get 3 ideas a day,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? You get 1,000 ideas, you end up doing one,
Yes.
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
So this became one of those file and forget kind of insights. ठीक है, कुछ है वहाँ पे, I don't know how to leverage this insight. But when I saw the internet for the first time in October 96 at an exhibition in Pragati Maidan,
Yeah.
that's when I joined the dots and said, let's just get all the newspapers and magazines from around the country that carry appointment ads and put the ads up on a website and see what happens.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. There's a organization called Central News Agency in Connaught Place, Madras Hotel, which gets all newspapers and magazines from all over the world, including all over India. So I would send a peon across there every day. This is, we knew on which day of the week which newspaper would carry appointment ads, and he would buy those and bring it back. We'd have 2 data entry operators who input them in a format, and we would put them up on the on the internet, and we called it Naukri.com.
Yeah.
And that's how Naukri started. It's zero revenue, free jobs for newspapers, and gradually we began to charge, and more and more people began to list. The response aata tha. Okay, so people were happy, and so it started from a customer insight.
Yeah, exactly.
From observing people.
Yeah. So thanks for this insight. Great. Now let me ask you this. So to me, spotting a pattern is only half the job, but the real insight is trusting it, like you mentioned about it. So let me ask you this, because this is so interesting. So what gave you the conviction that job ad insight was real? Because you're talking about a time when Indians did not even have the access to internet.
So when we launched Naukri, there were about 14,000.
Yeah, 14,000. Yeah.
Internet accounts in the country.
Yeah.
There were shared accounts. Because अगर दफ्तर में है तो 8-10 लोग देखेंगे.
Yeah.
तो 1,00,000-2 लाख होंगे मेरे ख्याल से उस समय. Is what we estimated. People. To me, this looked like a large number.
Oh, really?
I said, ये तो बढ़िया है. अगर 1,00,000 लोग हैं तो कम से कम 1,000 एप्लीकेशन तो आएंगी हर रोज across all the jobs.
Okay.
अगर एक जॉब 1 महीने में है लाइव, 1 महीने के लिए लाइव है तो कम से कम 50-75 एप्लीकेशन आ जाएंगी उसको. That's a decent number, I thought. So we began with that. We began with the conviction that people are interested in jobs. तो एक बारी पता चल गया तो आ जाएंगे. Because the value proposition is very, very actually powerful.
Yes.
All the jobs in one place.
In one place, yes.
So if the job has appeared in Hindu in Madras, but you're in Delhi, you can see it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Very, very powerful sort of value proposition. Second is we keep the jobs there for 30 days. So 2 हफ्ते पहले ad आया and you missed it, you can see it here. So ये 2 value proposition है. All the jobs in one place.
And for 30 days.
30 days. So India में कहीं भी हो, you can see the job.
Yeah.
Right. And we knew कि this will get traffic. Now, it's possible we were wrong, but हम ज़्यादा खर्चा कर नहीं रहे थे. हम सस्ते में कर रहे थे सब कुछ. We had no money.
Yeah.
$25 का server. 2 data entry operator. They're inputting jobs. अखबार आ रहे हैं. अब मान लो you're getting 29 newspapers into 4. मान लीजिए say once a week. So 120 newspaper. मान लो 2-2.5 रुपए का एक अखबार है. ठीक है, तो ये रकम 500 रुपए. तो 500 में अखबार, $25 का सर्वर.
पर रेंट भी था.
Rent तो खैर, we were doing a salary survey also. The other businesses were lines of business were there.
Yeah.
So we were just subsidizing Naukri from that. So in the first year we did about 2.5 lakhs of revenue. खर्चा हुआ होगा 6-8 लाख. So we must have made a loss of 5-6 lakhs.
Yes.
But that was made up for by the salary survey.
Yeah.
But the thing was that मान लो नहीं चला. We lose 3-4 lakhs.
Yeah.
We shut it down.
Okay. So now let's move on to the next one, which I say that you were spotting the patterns, you knew where India was heading, that's great. But clarity doesn't always equal conviction from others. And this conversation is about the belief and the disbelief. And to me, it came from the very people that fund belief. So I'm talking about the venture capitalists.
See, I didn't know what venture capital was. I never heard of it. Around mid-99, we began to get calls from people saying, maybe please invest in your company.
Oh, wow. You started getting calls.
In Mount.
Okay.
I was not interested in raising venture capital. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Right? We'd now been doing business for about 8-9 years. And the whole thing was always, we have to break even.
Yeah.
And, the customer pays us. We make a profit, we get a salary. Okay? If we make a profit. Right? And that's how the thinking was. There was no venture capital then.
Yeah.
99, we began to get calls.
Yeah. In 2000, I think ICICI Venture, they finally invested around 7.3 crore roughly for a stake of 50% in Naukri.
15%.
Yeah, 1.5%, right? And 8 years later, India had its first .com IPO, InfoEdge.
Well, actually, Rediff had gone public in the
Yeah,
US before that.
I'm aware. But if I just
in
talk,
India?
yes, in India, yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. So you said you were not very heavy on the venture capitalists, right?
Initially, we were not interested.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't want to complicate my life.
Yes.
Sign a complex
Yes,
agreement.
yes.
You get a target, MIS,
Yeah.
accountability.
Yeah.
You have to grow at a certain pace. You have to
Yeah.
give them an exit.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Which I felt would complicate our lives. But what happened is that competition launched after having raised funding. Jobs had launched. So we were doing 3 lakhs a month. I wasn't taking a salary. But I was confident कि अगर अगले साल 50-60 लाख हो जाए तो I can take a salary.
Yeah,
And my ambition was कि मेरी तनख्वाह निकलनी चाहिए. I had no ambition of large company, valuable company, listed company, thousands of people, none of that. कि मेरी तनख्वाह निकलनी चाहिए. तनख्वाह निकल जाए तो मैं खुश हूँ. However, in Feb 2000, Jobs had launched, having raised $7 million.
7 billion.
Million. For 25% of the company. 7 million. And they launched with the ad campaign on the India-Pakistan cricket series in Sharjah.
Okay.
So that's when we got really worried. We said, we can't compete with this.
Yes.
Unless we raise capital.
Yes.
So we went back in the market.
Yeah.
And we got lucky. We spoke to 4 venture capitalists. I didn't hire an investment bank. I was speaking myself. And we spoke to 4 venture capitalists and we got 3 term sheets. 1 verbal, 2 written.
Nice.
And we went with ICICI Venture.
Yes.
We got lucky because we raised money 2 weeks before the meltdown, the dot-com bust. So we didn't have time to spend the money foolishly.
Yeah.
पैसा उठा लिया था.
And you stayed lean, yeah.
See, lean and frugal was our DNA and history.
Yeah.
10 साल हमने वही किया था.
Yeah.
We knew the value of money. But अगर meltdown 6 महीने बाद होता, 1 साल बाद होता, we would have spent the money.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we would have
Which makes sense.
in competition, right?
Yeah.
As luck would have it, we got lucky on our timing, and market melted down within 2 weeks. So we said, just keep the money in fixed deposit in the bank and see what to do.
Yeah, awesome. And I have to ask you this, and I was listening to one of your interviews, and in one of the interviews you said back then, the mindset was fear that a middle class would never wanted to become entrepreneur because the way we've been raised. So what's your take? Like, do you still think that's the case?
Well, actually, now there are enough role models.
Yeah.
Now doing a startup has parental approval.
Yeah.
Now, you have seen success stories before you.
Yeah.
So now it has become fairly mainstream among educated middle class boys and girls, young men and women, from engineering colleges, from business schools, to want to consider becoming an entrepreneur and actually taking the plunge.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So,
काफी बदलाव आया है.
Yeah, even I have seen that back then versus what we have now, there are so many people that want to become entrepreneur now. But I want to bring up something very interesting, and you can let me know what's your take on this. As per my stats, somewhere in 19 or 2000, before the first VC round, you did sell Jeevan Sathi.
See, I'll tell you what happened. When ICICI invested in April 2000, they said 2 things. Number 1, change your auditors, because that's what the agreement says, that you'll appoint auditors to our satisfaction.
These were Amit and Rohit?
Yes, it's a small firm. They said we want a big 5.
Okay.
So we appointed Pricewaterhouse. The second thing that I said is that Jeevan Saathi आपने launch किया, shut it down. You're not interested in it. We have invested behind Naukri, and you must just focus on that.
Okay.
So we said, okay. So we went to Rohit and Amit Tandon, who are chartered accountants, and we told them, guys, very sorry, but we have to part company because we've had to acquire a larger auditor.
Yeah.
Okay. And they said, hey, no problem, because we were thinking of shutting our CA practice and starting a .com anyway. So हमने बोला, why don't you take
You take it, yeah.
You take it. So we gave them 45%.
You kept 35 as well?
We kept 45.
Yeah.
And 10% हमने employees को दिया.
Yeah.
So 45 and
and then you later required
maybe 45, 35 and
I think
20.
It says 35 you kept.
Okay, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly याद नहीं है. And ठीक से, but yeah, so that's how it came about. So we didn't sell it.
Okay.
They didn't.
It was the requirement at that time from ICICI Ventures.
Yeah. So we probably charged them 10 rupees a share or something, right?
But then you had it back by 2004.
Then Naukri grew and began to make money, and we had a surplus in the bank.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jeevan Saathi had been unable to raise money. Meltdown हो गया था. So it was doing 1-2 lakhs a month, but not more. And it had fallen behind Shaadi and Bharat Matrimony, which had which were doing better. So we went to the Tandons and we bought it back from them.
Yeah. 2004.
And we paid them a price.
Yeah. So after the IPO, since you did not leave, and I've seen many founders selling their stake, moving on. So you did not. So was it any unfinished business, any founders guild, or something like it was not on the table?
No, no. See, for us, an IPO was just an intermediate.
The beginning.
Milestone.
Yeah.
Right? आपको करना है. It's the next stage of the company. Went and did it. लेकिन कंपनी को आगे जाना है. You see, in the beginning, if you're running a proprietorship, the company belongs to you.
Yeah.
When you take on other shareholders,
Yes.
and you take on investors and venture capital, the company doesn't belong just to you.
Yes.
After you go public, you belong to the company.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, you've taken public money.
Yeah.
You've gone out and you've told the public, मैं चलाऊंगा company.
Yeah.
तभी इन्होंने invest किया.
Yes.
So you can't then, say, okay, fine, मैं जा रहा हूँ.
So it was never on the table.
Never.
Yeah. Okay. So post IPO, to me, it was a kind of grind that Bharat needed, and you even had that mindset. And this brings me to my next ever widening debate on the internet, which is around 80 to 90 work week. And let me tell you what I think. To me, I think this question is all wrong. In a country like Bharat, which is still developing, I think we should not look at how much time we are working. It should be what is the value we create. But that's my thought. I want to hear what you have to say on this 80 to 90 work week.
I think you have to do what it takes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, there's an achievement mindset and there's an entitlement mindset.
Yeah.
Okay? Nothing big was ever achieved by anybody without putting in effort. So you measure outcomes, not hours.
Yes, absolutely.
That's important. The second thing I tell young people is that you've got to decide, are you working per hour, per day, per month for a certain rate? Are you, or are you doing an apprenticeship for a future leadership role? Now, if you're doing an apprenticeship for a future leadership role, then the effort you put in now is an investment in your career.
Yes.
And you have to demonstrate leadership potential
by
taking ownership, by putting the effort and making sure the outcome happens,
yes,
whatever outcome is required.
Yeah.
And if you adopt that approach, I think over a 20, 30-year career, you probably do much better. You also will not count the hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying work 70 hours or work 90 hours. I'm saying do what it takes.
Yes, exactly.
And you take a look at any profession, any job. Very few actually work 9 to 5.
Yes.
Very few.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at a policeman, I mean, they work probably 18 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. I was about to say 24/7, yeah.
Okay, you take a look at a soldier at the border.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he's not going to say कि बस 7 बजे
Yes,
शाम को
exactly.
Chinese आ गए हैं.
Yes.
Sorry, हमारा work life balance हो गया.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you take a look at anybody.
Yeah.
It's usually not 9 to 5.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, I work so closely with the government on, in Startup India and all.
Yes.
Those guys work Sundays, they work Saturdays,
Yes,
they work
yes.
9 to 9. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
this is government.
Yeah. Exactly.
So very few jobs are actually 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, if I tell you the stats right now, even at this time, Indians are already working 47 to 48 hours. And I think we're already sitting on a gold mine because we have so many, 65% more people are around below 35. So whenever someone tells me in my office or, in my circle, I always tell them the same thing. Do not look at the work week. Look at the value you create, because this is the time for us. We have to create if we want to be where we want to be. And that's my take. So thanks for.
So I'm not saying work hard for the country.
Yeah.
I'm saying work hard for yourself.
Exactly. When you work hard for yourself,
You will do better.
Exactly.
You will develop yourself if you put in the effort.
And
over a 20, 30-year career, 40-year career, it will make the effort you put in in the early years,
Yes.
will make a big difference.
absolutely, and eventually your country, Bharat, I think it's just directly proportional to me. The more you work, so let me move on, and I want to make this a little lighter moment. Between 1997 to 2010, you built, which many founders built one. They built one in their whole lifetime product. You have built 4 different. You have Naukri, 99 acres, Jeevan Sathi, Shiksha, and completely different audience, different markets. So let me ask you this.
So first of all,
Yeah.
ये मैंने नहीं किया है. कंपनी में और बहुत लोग हैं.
Yes, absolutely.
Often I get credit that I do not deserve.
Yeah, and that's honesty. Thank you.
No,
for
that is the truth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
take a look at Hitesh's contribution.
Yes.
I mean, take a look at so
Yes.
many other
Yes.
senior people, middle people, junior people.
Yes.
Several who already left the company.
Yes. But I think Mr. Hitesh is now
Yeah,
leading.
he's the CEO,
yes,
and
yes.
he's.
You gave him the reins in 2010, if I'm not wrong.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I stepped aside.
Yeah.
बोर्ड ने मेरे को बोला अब देखो अब you should have a
You're turning young.
you should have a succession plan. So I stepped aside.
Yeah. So as I said, I want to make this a little light-hearted. So during this year, of all these jobs as platforms you were creating, what is that you were chasing? Honestly, was it expansion, escape, or something entirely different?
No, I think it was solving to some extent a creative urge that I wanted to create something, build something, and it's a creative urge that keeps you going. कि आपको और करना है.
Okay. And if I tell you, for me, launching those 4 platforms is only half of the story.
Well, actually, you see, there's a pattern there.
And I like that. I tell you, you are a pattern guy.
Okay. पैटर्न क्या है कि देखिए हमने अखबार देखा. अखबार में अपॉइंटमेंट एड्स आते हैं तो इंटरनेट पर डालो देखते क्या होता है.
Yeah.
अखबार में मैट्रिमोनियल ऐड आते हैं इंटरनेट पर डालो देखते क्या होता है. अखबार में रियल एस्टेट ऐड आते हैं इंटरनेट पर डालो. That's 99 acres. अखबार में एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन के ऐड आते हैं. शिक्षा करो.
Yeah.
So all these 4 were big advertising categories in the newspaper. You are taking what is people are paying for to advertise the newspaper and giving an alternative on the internet. And that was the pattern. Okay? We simply said companies and people are already spending money and giving it to the newspapers for this activity. Give them an alternative on the internet.
Yeah.
And maybe take 5% of the budget,
Yeah.
2% of the budget, 10% of the budget, and then gradually increase that share.
Increase that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we have done. We were following the money.
Yeah.
We were following the categories of advertising in print.
And I really respect you for saying that it is not only you. I think that's the hallmark of a leader, who always says this. It is not me. It is everyone's contribution. Awesome. So let me say this. Now, launching 4 platforms for me is just half of the story. The second half is surviving. And I want to move to the point when global giants like Monster, Indeed, Glassdoor, when they stormed the market of India with scale, capital, brand muscle, to me, Naukri didn't flinch. And the reason I say that, as per the existing data, Naukri still holds 60% traffic market share in India. So what's the reason of that?
I think relentless focus on the customer. Customer means the job seeker as well as the recruiter. We have two sets of customers. Relentless focus on that. Second is great people. Third is continuous innovation. So right now, there's a large team working of AI engineers, AI data scientists in the company working on improving the product, innovating, just using AI. And this has happened in the last 3-4 years. कम से कम 25-30 नए फीचर या implement हुए हैं that use AI on Naukri. Some of these are visible to you, some of these are not visible to you as a user.
Okay.
But they make the site work better. They make our services work better.
Okay. Because I still think, when Monster came, there were a lot of segment of people that they ran after Monster, but now it's nowhere to be seen. It's still Naukri all the way.
I think Monster was a formidable competitor.
It was, but it is not now.
For a while.
Yeah.
It isn't because, see, it's possible that they hit difficult times. It's because also what we did, to some extent, we were helped by the environment. When the global financial crisis hua, the Monster pulled back. We had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
India is the only market.
Yeah.
So we continued.
Now let's move to 2014. You had one of the most greatest digital ecosystem in India of all these 4 platforms. And then came something which is Ashoka. To me, Ashoka came from a thought that India doesn't need coders or managers. It needs original thinkers as well.
It needs coders and managers. But imagine if you have a manager or a coder who can also think.
Think, exactly.
Okay? So I'm not saying coders are different from managers and are different from thinkers.
Yeah.
Everybody has to think.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So in your eyes, what did Ashoka really set out to solve?
Ashoka is not a business. It's a purely philanthropic project.
Yes.
It's a not-for-profit. Second, it has very little to do with InfoEdge and the company, other than the fact that some CSR money has gone there.
Yes.
But Ashoka के 200 फाउंडर हैं.
Yes. Yeah, 150 plus, yeah.
Okay, उसमें से मैं एक हूँ.
Yes.
ठीक.
Yes.
तो it's a collective philanthropy project, and Ashoka I thought was solving an unsolved problem. You see, if you look at the Indian higher education system, there's this massive quest in Indian middle class. मेरा बेटा या बेटी engineer बनेंगे.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think engineers are great. Fantastic. I mean, the entire IT industry of India, including InfoEdge, is built by engineers. Right? However, there are a large number of people who don't want to become engineers, but end up becoming engineers.
Yeah.
Parental pressure, peer pressure, teachers, herd mentality, जो भी बोलो. Right? And they eventually do not work as engineers.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah.
So can those people do something else in college, which is more relevant, useful? And those who want to be engineers should be engineers.
Yeah. So do you think it has succeeded what it was initially set out for?
देखिए, देश में 140 करोड़ लोग हैं. 1.4 billion people. One college will not solve it. One university will not solve it. The question is, can you create a new model which
process.
if others then emulate? हो सकता है ना इंडिया में, अगर एक चीज चल गई
तो
तो लोग कॉपी करते हैं.
Yes.
तो सरकार ने 5 IIT बनाए, उनके ग्रेजुएट्स कामयाब हुए, डिमांड बढ़ गया, 3-4 हज़ार इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस केम अप over 20 years, 30 years. सरकार ने 3 IIMs बनाए, उनके ग्रेजुएट्स कामयाब हुए, डिमांड बढ़ गया सीटों का, 3,000 मैनेजमेंट स्कूल हैं इस देश में. Now, so our thinking was एक अशोका बनाओ, अगर वो कामयाब होगा और लोग सिमिलर कॉलेज एमुलेट करेंगे.
Okay.
And to that extent, I think we have begun to succeed because Ashoka has worked, and now other liberal arts programs are being launched either in new universities or within existing universities.
Okay. And looking back between InfoEdge and Ashoka, if I have to ask you this, what is that you want to be remembered for? What would that be?
Yeah, I have not thought about that. I think the key is to build an institution that or institutions that outlive you, whether or not you get the credit for it.
Awesome. Great. All right. So now let's move to the next one. And this is, I really like this one as well. So you have seen so many things up close from Naukri in terms of people who get shortlisted, who gets ignored. So what was that about one pitch, be it one founder or from Zomato, Dipinder Goyal, or Policy Bazaar, Yashish Sahiya, that made you say that this one I'm never walking away?
So whenever you go into a young company, a fresh company, there's often very little on the ground to show your company kamyab hogi. So you always have some doubt.
Yeah.
Right? But what we liked about both Zomato and Policy Bazaar, which convinced us, of course, the founding teams were great. The founders are great. You could see that across the table. They were all based on some customer insight or market insight.
Okay.
Just as Naukri was created on a customer insight.
Okay. Which
Right?
makes sense.
And that told us, ye dono kamyab hogi.
And this is great insight, but you did not find any other companies that pitched to you which had the same insights?
No. Dekhiye, when you go into any startup, you go in because you have conviction.
Correct.
That ये लोग कर लेंगे.
Yes.
लोग ठीक है, आइडिया ठीक है, right? कुछ ट्रैक्शन आ रहा है, अर्ली स्टेज है, बट कुछ आ रहा है that gives you belief that the market or the customer wants this. ठीक है? So this is, you go in with that. But इतनी uncertainty होती है कि market evolve होगा नहीं होगा, competition आएगा नहीं आएगा, right? Competition get more money perhaps.
Yeah.
अगला round raise ना हो. Maybe you misjudge the market and you misread the market.
Yes.
Founder थक गया.
Yeah, exactly.
Founder को accident हो गया.
Yeah.
Many things can happen. So every founder we've gone in behind, we have believed in that founder.
Yeah. So can you tell me one thing that struck you about Dipinder when?
28 साल का था वो. And we met him and Pankaj Chadda. They were two or three co-founders we met. I think the उस समय ऐप नहीं था, वेबसाइट थी.
Website थी, yeah.
It was called Foodie Bay.
Foodie Bay, yeah.
उसमें उस समय कोई फूड डिलीवरी सर्विसेज नहीं थे.
Menus थे लेकिन उनके.
Menus थे.
Yeah.
See, the traffic was growing, the product was useful, we were using it, we liked it. We figured there's product smarts, customer smarts, consumer smarts here. That there's a deep understanding of the consumer. Likewise for Policy Bazaar. Policy Bazaar, we invested even before a PowerPoint. There was no PowerPoint even.
Wow. Isn't that a risk? Or like you had so much conviction?
No, it was a risk. We had conviction. It was a risk. It was perhaps a risk we would not take today because अब हम सयाने हो गए. उस समय हम beginners थे, तो हमने पैसे डाल दिए पैसे, जोश में आके. But it was the right call.
Yeah, it was. And I Mr. Sanjeev, I have to say this. I really like your honesty. I think in every of the answer, you do make this comment which is so honest about yourself. I think that says a lot about you as a leader.
I think you have to have a good reality check.
Yeah.
कि कितने हद तक आपका जीनियस आपकी मेहनत है, कितने हद तक लक है, कितने हद तक औरों का एफर्ट है.
Yeah.
कितने हद तक, I mean, at the end of the day, we have not made Zomato and Policy Bazaar succeed. Yes. It is because of them.
Yes.
That they have succeeded.
But they needed that push which you gave.
Well, we give capital.
Yeah.
But देखो, money is a commodity. कोई भी दे सकता है.
Yes.
ठीक है. So in a sense, we were fortunate that they let us invest. क्योंकि उनको और जगह से पैसे मिल सकते थे.
Okay.
और मिल जाते.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna take your attention to Startup Mahakumbh, where Mr. Piyush Goyal, he made a sharp comment, and I'm going to quote him, like, why are we still building food delivery apps like Zomato when China is investing in semiconductors and deep tech? So since you have a good stake in Zomato, so when you hear this critique, what's your view on that?
My view is very simple. You need both.
Okay.
And certainly you need deep tech and AI. एंड हमने करीब 18 डीप टेक स्टार्टअप्स में इन्वेस्ट किया है
Okay.
इन्फोएज ने.
Okay.
So it's not as if investments in deep tech are not happening.
Mm-hmm.
They are happening. They'll continue to happen.
Okay.
But you will need consumer companies as well because India में दोनों की जरूरत है.
Okay. So can you mention which other 18 deep tech companies have invested? Like
I,
which
I
few?
don't have the list right now with me, but there are many. There's a e-plane company. There is a company that is converting methane into protein. There are 2-3 robotics companies. There are enough.
Okay.
You've done enough.
Okay, great. All right. So now let me zoom out the founder in you and let me bring in the citizen as a Bharatov. Now in 2047, India is going to complete 100 years of independence. And when you look at India's future, what's the one critical leadership or systemic gap that you think we must solve by 2047 or we risk losing the next 25 years?
I think we have to learn to live together.
Different insight. I was not expecting that. Okay.
Whether it is people of different religions, whether it is people of different castes, whether it's people of different linguistic groups, different parts of India. We have to learn to live together. That's one. Second is, I think, what India has done very well over the last 75 years, it has invested a lot in higher education. As a consequence, you manage to create a very large middle class. But the poor don't get the opportunity to climb up the ladder, the opportunity ladder, the economic ladder,
Okay.
because they don't get access to that education. बहुत लोग हैं
Yeah.
जो गरीब हैं जिनको education access नहीं मिलती. Now, if that needs to be fixed by 2047, that everybody has to have access to decent education. Because it's education that has created the Indian middle class. देखो अगर engineer नहीं होते ना तो Indian IT industry नहीं होती.
नहीं होती. Completely agree.
Engineer कहाँ से आए हैं? Middle class से आए हैं.
Yeah, absolutely.
Engineer को पहले जो engineer बना है या बनी है उसको पहले अच्छी स्कूल एजुकेशन मिली है.
Yeah, absolutely.
घर में पेरेंट्स ने प्रोत्साहित किया है कि पढ़ाई करो. फिर जाके वो सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी नौकरी मिली है. फिर जाके IT इंडस्ट्री बनी है. And look at industry after industry. It is peopled by staff, by personnel, by people who have got a decent education. And therefore they are upwardly mobile. Education is carrying them forward.
Education.
So I think we need to give better access to education for everybody. And that is when they will get the jobs. That will help them change their lives and their future generations' lives.
Okay, and what do you think about the generative AI? And the reason I say that is, I want to give you context. In the previous podcast with the founding director of IIM Sambalpur, Mr. Mahadev Jaiswal, he brought a very different aspect of generative AI. Right now people only look at, when I say generative AI, the first thing that comes to mind is ChatGPT. That's what they say. But he brought two more elements, which is the cognitive engagement and assessment.
If you use AI to do your homework when you're in school or in college for your assignments, then you're not really making the effort yourself. And therefore, are you really developing your capabilities? Now, if you're not developing your personal capabilities,
Okay.
then you're replaceable.
Okay.
What do you bring to the table? And therefore, AI should be a tool to be used, but should not replace human effort when you're studying.
Okay. Okay.
It should supplement it.
Okay.
That's the first comment. Second is, see, up to a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when somebody would ask me, AI, say, kya hoga impact? I would say we have to wait and watch. I can't say.
Okay.
Today, I think the verdict is pretty clear. AI is going everywhere.
Yes.
Will people lose jobs? Yes, some jobs will be replaced, but there'll be some new jobs being created.
Yes.
Now, will the new jobs be created as fast as the old jobs are going away? I don't know. Will the same people who are losing jobs get the new jobs? May not happen.
Okay.
So there'll be some pain. Transition to hoga. But dekhiye, I take heart from stuff I've seen before when technologies have changed. and new technologies are coming. 1985 में I was just begun my career. मैं 21-22 साल का था. राजीव गांधी was prime minister. उस समय की सरकार ने अनाउंस किया कि साहब हम नेशनलाइज बैंक में कंप्यूटर लाएंगे.
Yes.
There was massive concern. Bank employees, All India Bank Employees Association, the unions, कि we will lose our jobs.
Yes.
नहीं हुआ वो. Productivity improved. So question is, can you use AI to improve productivity rather than just have mass sackings? If you can do that.
So going to the next question that I have, and since you stepped down from CEO role, you have done something very few CEO manage. You didn't fade into nostalgia. Instead, you came into the system. From chairing NASSCOM Internet Council to guiding entrepreneurs through IIM Ahmedabad to Ashoka, you are investing in people who lead Bharat. And to me, leadership is something which cannot be taught in classroom, and character is something that doesn't come with capital. So when you sit in the rooms from NASSCOM to IIM Ahmedabad, this is so important to me. How do you decide which founders to guide? What tells you that this is the guy or founder?
See, I try and guide whoever comes to me for guidance. जो आता है, we try and guide them. I don't do it alone. हमारी investing team 15 लोगों की है, and we share the workload. Okay, because अब क्या होता है कि just roughly similar advice is given by everybody in the investing team at Info because they've all developed along the same lines and principles, and everybody understands the philosophy. Yes, people still want to meet me क्योंकि मेरा नाम है, but काम सबको ही करता है. So my colleagues' advice may be better than mine because my colleagues give me more time than I did.
So, but what tells you that this is the person that can be a future leader of Bharat, and this person who isn't? Because important.
Very hard to say. Very hard to
Yes.
say. You invest in 10 companies, शायद 2-3 कामयाब होंगी.
Yeah.
Right? Perhaps because they had bad luck. Perhaps because there was other external factors. Maybe they're all very good. That's why you invested in them. But so there's money and there's time. We give time to everybody. We give money to some people.
Okay. And what I find most surprising about your journey, Mr. Sanjeev, is that even after you have a Padma Shri award and you have a net worth over 4.25 billion approximately, you once said, I still feel like a man with...
No, that's an overstatement, but anyway, it doesn't matter. कम है, उससे कम है, काफी कम है.
Okay. You once said that I still feel like the man with rupees 2,000 in my bank account. So what makes you to hold on to that 2,000 version of yourself, even when people see you as a billionaire?
No, that's how you don't leave where you came from.
Roots.
अगर my first time that I could get a salary with some predictability after becoming an entrepreneur was the year 2000. I was 37 years old. तो पहले 37 साल में it was very frugal. तो एक बार 37 साल हो गए with frugality, then you don't really change.
You're very modest with that net worth, and you're still holding on to that thought. Okay, so now before we wrap up, we're going to move to something we call as sprint bites, and this is like quick questions, gut response.
Sure.
Whatever comes to your mind the first, right? Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right, it's going to be really interesting. So you have built companies that help others get hired, married, educated, and housed. What's one idea you almost bagged and now you regret passing on?
Our anti-list, from an investing perspective, is very large, where great big companies are built, and we looked at it early on, and we said no. So I said no to Flipkart in their pre-Series A angel round without even meeting them. I said no to Snapdeal twice at 28 million. We said no to Lenskart in the very early on, pre-Series A. I said no to Ola in the angel round.
Did you meet Bhavesh?
I met Bhavesh. See, उस समय वो idea कुछ और chase कर रहा था. I thought great guy, but the idea he told me was टैक्सीज बॉम्बे से महाबलेश्वर जाती हैं, वापसी खाली होती है. तो मैं एक कंपनी चालू करूँगा जिसमें जो वापसी भरेगी. और मैं सोच रहा हूँ भाई कितनी टैक्सियाँ जाती हैं महाबलेश्वर, सीजनल है कि नहीं है, अच्छा उसमें से वापसी कितने में भरोगे. तो टोटल टेक कितना होगा, तो आपको शेयर कितना मिलेगा, एंड उसी में मैं खो गया. आई डिड नॉट सी द फ्यूचर पोटेंशियल और वेयर द कंपनी कुड गो.
Okay, great. If you had just 1 minute to pitch a national idea to the Prime Minister for India 2047, what would it be and why you?
I would pitch what actually the government is already doing, which is focusing on startups. Because startups are, they transform a nation over 20, 30, 40 years.
Yes.
If you look at Infosys, it was a startup in the early 80s.
Yes.
So was Wipro, so was HCL, so was TCS even. It was a startup. A part of a large group, not a first generation entrepreneur, it was a startup. So startups transform nations over decades.
And why you?
Why me?
Yeah.
Because I understand startups. So I've done it before.
Okay. What's one student story from Ashoka University that still keeps you up at night or reminds you that why you believed in it?
I think you meet Ashoka alumni. Very many of them are pursuing very different paths. So the diversity of the Ashoka graduating batches is tremendous. So wherever they go, enough Ashoka graduates are going to make a difference, and they'll go to many places.
Okay. If your son or daughter came to you with a startup pitch today, would you fund them or test them first?
Well, I would fund them. Okay, so I've offered, my daughter is doing a startup. I
Nice.
have offered her money several times. She has refused. But she said, I don't want my investor sitting at the dining table every day.
I like that. Did you ever came close to shutting everything down personally or professionally?
No, never.
Okay. You sit on the boards of Ashoka and others. What's the one truth such elite institutes refuse to admit about the youth of Bharat?
So one problem is that the best education institutions of higher education, the medium of instruction is English. Now that excludes a large segment of India.
Yes.
People who don't know English or don't know it that well. And eventually, if you want to educate the masses, to give them access, you somehow have to overcome this language barrier.
Yeah. Okay. What's one decision you made for InfoEdge that quietly cost your family something they never complained about?
I think the fact that I became an entrepreneur, and the fact that I went through the first 10 years, 6 years without salary, it meant that I had to tighten my belt a lot, which meant that the kind of neighborhoods we lived in, the kind of schools the children went to, they were constrained, but nobody complained.
Awesome. And you've said no to thousands, but what's the one yes that backfired?
Well, there are several companies which eventually did not do as well as we had hoped, but the entrepreneurs are still great.
Yeah.
Kafi thi.
If you could go back 25 years and whisper one sentence to a young Sanjeev Bikhchandani, what would you say?
Invest more in technology early on. हमने टेक्नोलॉजी में कम इन्वेस्ट किया पहले 5 साल में.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Thank you so much.
If you're an MBA chasing clarity, if you are a professional stuck between ambition and confusion, then remember this. Before the IPO, there was rejection. Before Ashoka, there was loneliness. Before Legacy, there was just 2,000 rupees and a decision to begin. This wasn't just Sanjeev Bikhchandani's story. This was a blueprint for everyone who's still building quietly and courageously. Until next time, remember, stay sharp, stay questioning. This is Kunal Gupta signing off.